The southern region of Ireland covers 42% of the total land area and has a population of 1.6 million. The region has a wealth of natural, cultural and heritage assets of national importance and is a significant tourist destination. Our headquarters are based in Waterford, Ireland's oldest city, founded by the Vikings back in 914. Waterford is known worldwide for being home to the famous Waterford Crystal, who have been crafting glass here since 1783 and have in more recent time been part funded by ERDF funding. The southern region has been ranked a strong innovator, supported by the presence of several world-class universities, institutes of technology, technological universities and cutting-edge research centres, both public and private. Working with European partners on projects such as MARIE are helping the region in our ambition to become one of Europe's most creative and innovative, greenest and livable regions. David Kelly, Director with the Southern Region Assembly, is going to be talking to us to outline our journey on the MARIE project and the benefits to the region from our involvement. What actions were taken during the project?
RRI, or Responsible Research and Innovation, is quite a new concept. Some of it has already been embedded in the processes and the work that's already taken place, but it's not very visible. And it has been very visible, I would say, particularly in the context of a regional operational programme. So for that reason, I suppose we kind of focus on the whole governance piece. The governance piece to really, I suppose, to better integrate the processes and the principles of RRI into the processes, but also to focus on reporting, so as we could better support the measurement and the monitoring of the impact of RRI.
How were these actions executed?
Throughout this process then of the engagement, we agreed a number of indicators or measurables that we could utilise to capture, I suppose, the impact that RRI could potentially have, but also by doing this, it would raise the awareness of RRI in the whole process.
How do you feel the actions were received?
That's an interesting question. I suppose the first thing to bear in mind is that the MARIE project is probably the first time that a project on responsible research and innovation has taken place in Ireland. So that in itself is, I suppose, a catalytic step in its own right. And then to implement, I suppose, new approaches or new methodologies to try and capture RRI, it involves, I suppose, a key element of buy-in from the key stakeholders. So I think we have to recognise the efforts that Science Foundation Ireland put into this.
Did the project manage to achieve the desired change or impact? And do you think these actions are going to continue after the project has ended?
I think firstly, the biggest impact that the project probably made is really about the awareness raising. I think not only for ourselves, but also for the stakeholders that were involved. I think at the stage of the operational programme that we were at, that in itself proved very, very beneficial, because we were so far into the operational programme. Sometimes the impacts that you make, whilst they're big in their own right, they don't seem that big. But because you raise that awareness, it has that better or that wider impact that could potentially happen. And for that reason, I think we've probably created the culture or the environment where we can have the conversations around embedding those processes and practices into our new programme, which we're currently in the process of developing, and Science Foundation Ireland will be heavily involved in that, along with our Higher Education Authority, along with our Central Government Department. We're also feeding it into the development of the next National Smart Specialisation Strategy. And the Regional Assembly is very heavily involved in that, in terms of bringing the regional approach to that, but also about embedding the whole responsible research and innovation practices to that. We're also feeding into the next national research and innovation strategy. And again, all of those principles are being brought forward, and it is very much embedded in our own regional spatial economic strategy, particularly in the approach we take around public and citizen engagement. So I think overall, it has been a very positive process for us, and I think the impacts are going to outlive the project itself.